So good afternoon. You know, I had I would say, misfortune or not so pleasant opportunity to go down to the courthouse to take care of some paperwork for one of my vehicles on the registration process. And while I was there, it just so happened this day they were doing juvenile court. And while I was there, something, really was disturbing, touched my soul. That I felt so bad that wow, this is a travesty here. Uh, so while I'm there, they were doing juvenile court, and as the sheriff were bringing in the juveniles to go to court, something alarming stuck out that really, really sank my soul. And I would say 90% of the juveniles there, they look like me. And, the clerk of court, she made a comment. I was engaged in a conversation with her, and she said, it's a shame this area here in Virginia where so many retirees and so many folks that really mattered, that really could shape these individuals, these young Americans, their minds to want to do good, to want to have a bright future ahead of them. And what she said, it made me reflect on that. Like, wow, she is spot on because of in this area, we have some very phenomenal folks that, they are in a retired status or in a successful status in life to where if we were to engage the community the way she referenced that, we could probably change some of these individuals in their mindset and their plight. So many of them don't see a future, and it really kind of stuck with me, and it's so important to reflect, and it made me think about those important 3 yards, 3 yards, and I always reflect back on my life. And those 3 yards, important 3 yards, that first yard is your yard. And in your yard, you learn the values of being a productive citizen, and that character and integrity counts in everything that we do. It matters to have good character. It matters to do everything with the utmost of integrity. And I'm reminded, my grandmother, she would always say something, as a young kid that, I couldn't really figure out, well, I could have, but I just chose not to because I didn't think it made no sense. But today I do. With her third grade education, she would say, well, son, let me tell you something. Having good manners will take you places that money won't. And in my life, I have found out how true that can be. Sometimes just having good manners and respecting others, of having a good character, people would want to do things for you. They will bend over backwards and open some doors that may have not traditionally been able to be open, but just having some good manners. And what if we could stress to these kids that I just saw in juvenile court the importance of having good manners and respect, and the importance of in their yard, because parents and mentors set the tone for your yard, giving you good manners, instilling in you what good character is all about, and laying your foundation one with integrity and purposeful life, being a good citizen in this republic that we call America. So your yard, that's the most important yard. I think that if we don't lay the foundation, then they will go to the second yard, which is called the prison yard. And for the most part, there's no rehabilitation there, in the prison yard. And this is my opinion because it seems as it's, those folks that go in the prison yard, they become more savage, and it seems that they're not being productive. And being in the prison yard, you are taking not taking advantage of the most important thing that we have, and that's time. I mean, because you're sitting behind bars, losing time. And one thing I know about time, we can never get time back once it's gone. And we can't even add an extra day to our life because we don't control time. Time is more valuable, and it makes a difference. And being in that second yard, the prison yard, will hold many of them back. Uh, and the things that, I don't see too much rehabilitation. And now I do know there are various programs, and there are minority of folks that, that can be rehabilitated in the prison yard. But for the most part, the way folks are being locked up, and the way I saw those young juveniles the other day in juvenile court, just like, wow, why are they on this trajectory? So that second yard, the prison yard, that's not the yard we want them to go in. And we have to talk to them. They're like, hey, this second yard, there's no good for the most part that's going to come out. That's one experience that you don't need to have. And time, you're losing time. And that third and final yard, because if you don't get it right in the prison yard, that third and final yard is the graveyard. While I know that all of us will have to visit this yard, but it seems as if being reckless, that these, what I saw in juvenile court, many of them were being reckless and not learning the values that you should learn in the first yard of your yard. Some of them are going to an early grave. Uh, and that graveyard is not a yard that, we should want to go to early before our time. Because being here in America, we need all of our productive citizens to contribute. And so it is so important, those 3 yards, your yard, the prison yard, and the graveyard. And we got to make a difference. So in your yard, so that we can keep our citizens, especially what I saw in that courtroom. So many of them look like me. And it really devastated me that what can I do to help, do my part to ensure that they get it. Because I really want to keep them out of the prison yard, and definitely want to keep them out of the graveyard, because there's no coming back, especially these early young lives, that's going to the graveyard way before their time. They got so much time left to give this great republic that we call America. So I solicit your help to go volunteer, go across the other side of the street, and help that person that don't look like you, or that person may not be fortunate as you. Give them advice. Give them the things that we want to teach them in your yard: values, integrity, morals of the highest standard. If each one go out and reach one and teach one, I think what I seen in that juvenile court the other day, we could decrease that, because some of them never get to see what right looks like, and you would be surprised what one conversation can do, if somebody just cared, just to go have a conversation. So I solicit everybody to go help somebody, especially somebody that's less fortunate, in those underserved communities that needs people. They need to see what right looks like. It's too many of us that's been blessed, and I'm reminded of the famous single Patti LaBelle. Well, if you've been blessed, now pass it on. So I believe in that mindset. So today, go out and help somebody, reach somebody. Thank you for your time and your patience.